Hi everyone, I'm Raven the Swift, and welcome to Raven's Tournament Reviews. And today I'm going to review a piece of video that was submitted to me by Kurai out of the Iron Mountains. And this is Vulcan and Jarvis. I've met Vulcan before, I've never met Jarvis, but both of these guys are also out of the Iron Mountains. If you've never watched one of my reviews before, basically what I do is I review a piece of footage. Typically it's from a tournament or some type of competitive formatting. In this case it's a first of 10. And basically, we just look at what the fighters are doing, give them a little bit of feedback, and just offer some general critique. Things I don't normally do. I don't talk about whether a shot landed or a shot didn't. So we're not talking about or speculating on if people are sluffers or not, because it's non-productive in my opinion. And yeah, we just generally look at this, and yeah. So, anyways, let's start. So I guess I should say before we actually start. So in a first of 10 scheme or any type of competitive formatted fighting, you want to think about um, what your stratagem is in order to get you to the end goal of winning, right? If this is practice for a tournament, for instance, in a tournament I have to have a um, 1 to 5 fight scheme that eventually gets me to win. And basically, we're going to talk about that a lot in this. Since it's a first of 10, I need to win 10 matches. And basically, you want to lose as few fights as possible. That way, you can kind of control the evolution of your fight. So, we're going to talk about that a little bit as the video goes on. All right, let's do it. Give a good old tournament hug there. Normally, I shake people's hands. Hugging I reserve for close friends of mine, but I dig it. Okay. Feeling each other out. Okay. Vulcan threw a dump shot here, and something I want to talk about is I don't like wasted effort when when I'm in a competitive environment or I'm training for one, and this was a good opportunity for Vulcan to actually just play off of that dump shot because he attacked his opponent and they didn't do anything. So the natural thing there is to probably do the exact same thing and then evolve it into something else. And you're gonna kind of see what happens here in a minute where it doesn't. He didn't quite do that. Yeah, they got in a bit of a high cross game there, and I don't particularly like that type of fighting, and it didn't really work out for Vulcan here. Um, Again, a high cross fight. Sometimes it's about 50-50. They trade arms here. So they trade arms. Vulcan is leading out with a extended guard, and his opponent has a retracted guard. Usually, if this is a competitive thing, you can try to beat each other or try to beat your opponent, or you can Simo. What Vulcan does here is very good. Throw a nice stop hit into inside of his opponent's arm. Perfect thing to do. Love it. I like I like that Vulcan beat him to the punch and didn't let him evolve his attack, and he just came in and charged him. That's a great thing to do. I don't like how Vulcan is waiting to do the. He should have done the exact same thing. He's kind of eating his opponent's threats and not. His opponent isn't letting him evolve his attacks. Let's go back real quick. His opponent does something great here that I love. His opponent's going to throw a dump shot, doesn't disengage from range, so he maintains that tension and that pressure on his opponent. And then he gets a free leg shot because Vulcan stepped forward. If I was Vulcan, I would have thrown at his hand to stop his possible thing, which would have been the leg shot. Losing a leg when you have a punch shield is kind of difficult. Luckily, got hit in the face there. He got eaten across. I'm gonna go back real quick. Oh yeah. So this is what you don't want to do when you have a punch shield. You don't want to leave your punch shield where it was, as you step into it and attack with your sword. Because if you do this, you're just attacking basically as a single sworder and you're not using your shield adequately. When you have a punch shield and you're attacking like this, you want to extend the shield out and make sure it's covering your arm whenever you're attacking. Because he ends up beating across there. If he would have extended and blocked the shield, he wouldn't have got hit in the arm. This is actually kind of a long exchange. Their fight's about 5 minutes. So Jarvis here gets the initial hit and keeps his pressure up. He's actually doing a pretty good job there. I don't know why he keeps his guard so low. It's not bad. I think he could stand to keep it a little bit higher and get Vulcan to move his guard around. That's a perfect thing for Vulcan to do there. I like that he threw straight into his opponent's belly when his opponent went to throw a money shot. Nice shot there. All right, I want Vulcan to throw another one. Try to get that sword. A little bit of bad position there on Vulcan with that outside step. Probably should have thrown high at his opponent's board. We're going to go back real quick. So there's a pattern that is going to start to arise in this video. I'm going to go back again, where both of these guys are going to throw multiple high crosses at each other. If in this scenario, when you throw one high cross, instead of throwing twice, like through the same location, you should try to diversify that and throw to the board side shoulder. The reason in this case particular is, if you look at Jarvis, his sword hand is low, and he's used to moving his shield here to cover that sword side, the inside sword side shoulder. You see what I mean? And the first high cross he takes, he's going to have to overcompensate with that shield, which leaves his shield side shoulder open. See? And if you throw that shield, if he would have thrown shield side shoulder, he can use his punch shield to block his inside. Nice inside arm. I really like that backhanded wrap to the inside arm. Nice inside leg by Jarvis. That was a really good setup. One winning scheme that you need to figure out when you're doing first to fives or first to tens and tournament style stuff is you need to figure out what works against your opponent and what shots that work for you and evolve off of those shots. If you're not using the things that have already been beneficial to you, then you're getting a low return on investment for those things. You know what I mean? Like if you killed someone with a pump fake wrap like Jarvis just did, throw it again, or throw it in such a way that you can evolve it into another attack. Doing that type of strategy really keeps your stuff cohesive and understandable. That way stuff doesn't get confusing. You know, if you constantly keep evolving, it can get kind of cluttered and mixed up, which means you're going to be less consistent ultimately in whatever thing you're doing. That's not good. It looked like Vulcan was trying to bait him low, but when you have the punch shield, it's really not good to bring that shield forward, especially when your opponent has that low line advantage. It's better to stand there and try to get your opponent to bait out. Okay, so Vulcan did an underside wrap there, not bad. I like that pump fake to inside arm thing. That's pretty good. I think Jarvis did a good job at trying to get Vulcan to overcommit. Not a bad idea. I would try to move your feet a little bit more when you're working with a stationary opponent like that. I like that. Nice wrap. See, these guys are doing good stuff. They're just not working off of their success. Let me go back real quick. So I'm going to go back because this is important. One reason I don't like throwing multiple high crosses into that space, especially when you're cross-handed like that, is that you're throwing into a space with generally there's a lot of equipment there, and their head is there as well. So they're throwing past or into their sword or in their shield and their head, and you're trying to like reach to this area that's just kind of cluttered. Versus if you can throw to shield side shoulder, or board side shoulder, board side hip, board side, sword side hip, you know, double legs, there's much better targets for a combination rather than throwing two high crosses. I do like doing high cross into any of those other shots though, like as a combination. And you're going to see here why this clutter effect kind of screws Vulcan. Yeah, he kind of like, he's thrown into an area that's just kind of confusing. Oh, not Good attempt on the high cross, but 6-9. And again, you got to use that punch shield to cover that arm when you're exposing your arm to attack. Got to keep that shield moving, and you got to make sure it's covering your sword arm. 6-10, not completely surprised. Examining their overall stratagem, it looked like Jarvis did better when he was the one controlling the fight and advancing. Offensively speaking, his offense tended to be a little bit better and actually won him about 3 fights. And it seemed to work more. He did a good job at covering that cross lane, his sword side shoulder, sword side hip. He covered that pretty well. And his opponent wasn't quite able to fluidly attack the other locations. And yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But yeah, anyway, guys, if you have more questions about what I've been talking about, go ahead and leave comments, send me DMs on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. And yeah, so when you're basically doing something very competitive, you guys need to try to make something successful, some type of simple attack, and then work off of that success, because once you've done it one time, your opponent's going to be afraid of it, and there's innate threat and stuff like that. And even if you're just emphasizing that you might do it, or you're feinting that success, that still works, I don't have to throw a combination. I can just feint that attack and do something else. But you need to work on having that one successful thing, at least one successful thing, right? And then work on how to evolve that into like 3 or 4 other things. And if you can do that, you can generate a lot of success in your fights, especially in first to 10s, where that actually goes a little bit deeper. And I need to be able to like constructively and progressively develop this stratagem over those 10 fights. In a tournament, I only need to kill someone 3 times, and you don't have to go as deep. But when you're trying to go deeper, that's actually how you go deeper, is just having solid attacks and then being able to evolve them in kind of a creative way against different types of opponents and stuff like that. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed my review, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.